So my name is Nelly Rivera. The title of my testimony is The Power of Your Testimony. I'm going to be using the verses 1 Thessalonians 2:8, Zechariah 4:10, Proverbs 18:21.
Wonderful. How many categories have you done so far?
This is my fourth one of the day.
All right, how many more to go?
Just fourth, this is my last one.
So this is it. You're about to be free. Take a deep breath.
After this, I'm done.
Well, only one of us isn't saved. So, good luck on getting them saved. They've made it to the first half of the day. So, whenever you are ready, Vanessa.
Okay. Have you ever had a really bad day? Like the kind of day where everything that can go wrong will go wrong? Yeah, it's not fun. So on one of those days, my coworker actually asked me to go out to lunch. And knowing the day I was having, I knew it was not gonna end well, because mind you, at the time, she didn't like me. So, but I went regardless, and we went out and we actually ended up talking for hours. And eventually she opened up to me about her spirituality. She told me that she believes in spirits, but not Christianity. She told me what she thought Christianity was, the rules, the judgment, God's wrath. So I shared my story with her, the reality of God's love, what God's love actually does in your life. I remember feeling a sense of pride almost, knowing that I had that relationship with God. But when I opened up and became vulnerable, I realized I am in no place to have any pride. Ever since that day, she's come to church with me, felt the Holy Spirit, and has been wanting more of God every single day. She said that I changed her perspective on what Christians actually are, on who we're actually meant to be, not what the world says we are. Which leads me to the topic of today, which is the power of your testimony. I'm going to be sharing with you 3 points of what the power of your testimony can do. My first point is that your testimony shows. It shows who you are and it shows who He is. It shows that you are no different from the person that you are talking to. It shows God's grace and it shows God's mercy. It becomes personal because although that person may not know the gospel, they know you. They know what God has done through your life. They have seen it, and that's an undeniable testimony. That is why I share every single detail of my life. That is why I am vulnerable and transparent. 1 Thessalonians 2:8. So we cared for you because we loved you so much. We were delighted to share with you not only the gospel of God, but our lives as well. Our lives, although they not be written in the word, they hold just as much power. They are still powerful. They can still convict. They can still change lives. That I cared for her enough to tell her that I was broken too. I was messed up too. I was no better than she was in that moment. Which brings me to my second point. Your testimony humbles. It humbles you and your ministry. Your testimony helps you remember who you once were. The battles that you had to face and that you had to overcome. And we all know we didn't do that on our own. It reminds you of who you are without Christ. And that alone should humble us. Zechariah 4:10. Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. When I began to feel that pride as I talked to her, I caught myself and immediately remembered and humbled myself because I realized how long it took for me to get there. How long it took for me to get to where I was in that moment. These small beginnings guided me as I struggled with my faith. Sharing your testimony could be someone's small beginning. Which leads me to my last point, which is your testimony encourages. It encourages the people around you. Your family and your friends, they are your first responders. They are there with you day in and day out. It is important that they see what Christ is doing in your life. It gives them a new path, a new sense of hope. Some people have tried it all, but nothing was able to fill that void. You never know, you might even save someone's life. Your words have power. They have the power to do good and they have the power to do bad. Use your words to encourage others. Use your story to encourage others around you. The goal is not for you to convert them to your religion. The goal is for them to come to Jesus as they are and develop a relationship with Him. Yeah. My friend has never seen Christianity the same. From being completely closed off to wanting more of Him. Knowing that there is more out there for her. More than her mistakes, more than her doubts, more than her sin. Proverbs 18:21. The tongue has the power of life and death. Didn't he tell us to go out and make disciples of all nations? This is the tool that he's given us. This is the tool that we have to use day in and day out, no matter how uncomfortable it may be at first. We have to open up and be vulnerable so that people can see this. People can see the testimony and the power that it has. So will you go out and share your story?